Good lord, y'all. I feel like I survived a war. I feel like I've been off the war all weekend. I'm a little tired, but I'm here to tell you about my experience with 21 Pilots this weekend in Columbus, Ohio on their Clancy World Tour. I don't really know what this video is going to be. It's going to be a little bit of a story time. It's going to be a little bit of a review. It's going to be a little bit of an analysis. It's going to be a lot of things. It's going to be a lot of the thoughts that I had throughout this entire weekend about 21 Pilots and the things associated with this weekend. So there's that. Also, I feel like there's so much on my wrist right now. There's so many wristbands, there's so many bracelets. Also, shout out to everyone who gave me a bracelet. All of you were super cool and nice. Also, somebody gave me like a little mini print of Josh. That's super cool. I'll put the picture here and their username. There's so much free stuff at 21 Pilot concerts. You literally just have to talk to people and then we'll give you free stuff. But anyways, the trip to Columbus started out interesting. First and foremost, Gigi got a little clingy. Gigi realized that I was leaving and she was very upset about it. She's right there and she's been clingy ever since I've gotten back, so she doesn't like when I leave. Unfortunately, I cannot take her, but somebody did bring their cat to the Clancy tour, which we'll get into later. Also, on the way there, I had to make a pit stop at Panda Express as Josh Dunn, so that's always a fun time. But Panda Express goes hard, so I'll do it. But literally, as soon as I get to Columbus, guess who I see crossing the street? The softest bandito, Evie, and I was freaking out then. So I hurried up and checked in at the hotel and I went over to the venue where I found a lot of my friends. We made it to Columbus.
Yes, hello.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Brooklyn. I'm from here. These shows were really incredible and I'm really excited to meet everybody here. I've met a lot of people from all around the world, so I'm really excited.
And Hometown Click is your at?
Hometown Click.
Put it here somewhere. She's been camping for a week. Well, not camping, but the dedication
check-ins.
is crazy. That's so crazy. I also got to meet up with Evie, and she actually needed somebody to go to the FPE event with her, and I was like, of course I'll go with you, girl. You can hang out with me. Guys, she is so sweet and so nice in person, and she was just lovely. Seeing everyone was so super cool. I always feel like 21 Pilot concerts are like friend meetup that also happens to have 21 Pilots there. Like, getting to see everyone and getting to hang out with everyone for a weekend is as fun as the actual concert, I swear. So to everyone who said hi, thank you so much, because you make this so much more amazing than it already is. But yes, Evie and I went to the FPE event, which I will show you what they gave us in our little swag bags right now. Also, the merch that I got there, because FPE event, they get their own little merch table, so that was pretty cool. So here is the FPE event swag bag. The first thing you get is this little tote bag. It says Ned Breads, which I think is the cutest. It's like my favorite thing that I got in this whole thing. They give you some pins. The glare is awful, but there you go. You get this that says FPE. You look like you're VIP wearing this, you know what I mean? They give you this, which is just a little notebook. There's the back of it. You get pictures from all of the eras on it. And then you get this, which is actually signed by them. It's probably the thing I was most excited to get, was a signed autograph. As for the actual merch that I bought separately, this 21 Pilots flag that I will not be opening. It's just a flag that says 21 Pilots. It's huge. I don't feel like opening it. This long sleeve, let me present it for you. This is the front. So you got 21 Pilots there. And the back is really super cool. I love the font of that. It looks really cool. Then I got this shirt. There's nothing on the back. It just says 21 Pilots Clancy World Tour. I thought the picture was really cool on it. And then there was like two tour shirts that had like the tour dates on it, and I got the cream colored one. There was one that was like the same thing basically, but it was in black. But I thought you could like actually see the design of the shirt a lot better on this cream background. And it says 21 Pilots, the Clancy World Tour. And on the back it has 21 Pilots again and all of the dates. I have to get at least one that has the tour dates on the back. That is my one rule. I have to get one shirt with the tour dates to prove that I was actually there. So somebody comes up to me and it's like, you're a fake fan. Well, actually no, I'm not, because here's the tour shirt I got at the concert. But yeah, let's talk about the actual FPE event for a second. You might look at the things that we got in that little tote bag and be like, that's not a lot. You had to buy like those t-shirts separately. And you kind of feel like they could have done more, because that doesn't seem like a lot, and you're right, it isn't a lot. But you could tell a lot of the things that they did at the actual event was trying to make up for that. And I know when this first came out, like, the price caused a big stink, and you know, the lack of things we were getting was causing a big stink. But you can tell that they tried to make a memorable experience, and I thought it was really, really fun. We're about to witness 21 Pilots history.
Crazy.
You can introduce yourself, guys.
Hi, I'm Evie.
I think everybody knows.
I'm Softest Bandito on Twitter and TikTok, but come all the way from England.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
What do you think of Ohio?
Really cool. I went and saw Big Fun earlier, which is where 21 Pilots shot the Choker music video. But it's really good so far.
Ohio drivers, you can't drive. Okay, you just can't drive.
How that peach cobbler tasting?
People who aren't like super fans of 21 Pilots, I'm not sure if they would have enjoyed it as much, but if you know the history and you're a super fan of 21 Pilots, you would absolutely love the FPE event. The way that it was set up at my venue, it was kind of set up in two parts. It really didn't matter where you started. You could go to the lounge first, or you could go to like the actual like museum thing first. I went to the museum first. Basically, they tried to section it off, like each room was like a different era, and it was really, really cool because you essentially just walked through their history. Like you started off Clancy, and then you went back to Skeleton Icy, and then Trench, and then Blurry Face, and then you're at Vessel and Self-Titled, and it was really, really cool walking through all of this stuff and just going back in time. Me personally, I felt crazy because I was able to immediately recognize where all of this stuff came from, and seeing such big parts of their history in person is honestly really, really cool. Again, like I feel like if you're such a big fan of 21 Pilots and you know all of these things mean a lot more to you than if you were just kind of more of a casual fan of being like, what does this mean? Like, there's literally underwear. They're literally showing us underwear. What does that mean? I don't think like a casual fan would spend that money for VIP tickets, so I don't know if that's a big deal. Me personally, I was drawn to the drums. There was a lot of drumsticks, a lot of drum heads, a lot of actual drums at the FPE event, which I thought was really, really cool. Being a drummer, that makes a lot of sense. I also got to see the lovely jog and tog jackets that they wore on MTV Unplugged for the second time in real life. And it was also good to see that there was a little Groovy Ghost cameo in FPE. Wait, it's me? Tyler and Josh, they're such big fans of me, it's like insane. So much so that like my shirt that I was wearing to the concert was literally at the FPE event. One of us is gonna have to change, I fear. They're such fans, man. They're such fans of me. Like, they stalk me so much. Like, it's, like, crazy. Anyways, this museum portion, of course, had a lot of the history, but it also had so many photo ops. It was insane. I feel like every corner I went past, I was like, I need to get a picture with this. I need to get a picture with this. There was literally so many photo ops. But one of the coolest aspects of this part of the event were honestly the handwritten lyrics. I always thought that it was super neat that Tyler wrote all of his lyrics. Of course, I'm not dissing other artists who have other people write lyrics for them. That's not what I'm saying. But I always think it's extra special when an artist sings what they actually write, because you know it's coming from them, especially like a band like 21 Pilots talking about the topics that they do. I feel like it's very, very special that we're hearing that straight from Tyler and that he writes all of this stuff down and we get to see it. There were little handwritten notes throughout the whole thing, but one portion of the event had like this whole wall of lyrics. It was really interesting to see that because it lets you into the mind of Tyler Joseph, but you also see what almost happened, and it was almost like looking into like alternate universes, because Heavy Dirty Soul was Mr. Misty-Eyed or Mr. Whisper, and you get to see like literally him thinking out what he wants the song to be called, and you get to see what lyrics used to be. It was very interesting to see what he thought the song was going to be versus what the song actually is and how we know it. I could have spent hours looking at that wall, but unfortunately we had to move on to another almost equally as emotional thing in the museum. I don't know why this got me so much, but one of the things that almost brought me to tears was the keyboard and the piano shell that was used on stage, and they didn't have it behind anything. It was just a sign that was like, you can't touch it, and of course I didn't touch it, but being behind it felt so special to me for some reason. Like seeing the little blurry face paint on the keys and just knowing that he stood behind this for years and sung in front of so many people, and Tyler is giving us the opportunity to stand in his shoes. Just being behind that instrument and just imagining what Tyler Joseph did behind there was really, really cool and really, really special. And I don't know, it got me a little emotional. The few, the proud, and the emotional, if you will. Some other things of note in here was the very first set list that 21 Pilots had, which I thought was really, really cool that they even kept that. There were also handwritten car radio lyrics, which car radio is my absolute baby. I've loved that song from the very start. It just amazes me that 21 Pilots kept so much of the stuff. You would think that like they would just lose it or just think it's just not important throughout the years, but the fact that they kept so much of their history and is now sharing that is really, really cool. One of the things I love most about 21 Pilots is that it seems like they've just always had the vision. Like, there was never a point in time where they thought like this couldn't work, at least like from the outside. There is so much of them from the very start that is still visible today. They very much stay true to who they are. And it doesn't matter if they're performing in front of 10 people or 10,000 people. They will give it their all. Just to see a band that gives it their all and have everything work out for them so perfectly is really, really neat. The other section of this event was called The Lounge, and this was kind of more slow paced. You can kind of pick what you wanted to do, what you didn't want to do, and it wasn't like you were in a line being rushed. People were kind of just hanging out until they either left or were kicked out. Activities in this area included a place where you can write Tyler and Josh a letter. You can sign a guest book. You could get drinks if you wanted to. Non-alcoholic, by the way. It was literally water and Capri Sun, I should say. You can hang out by the campfire, which the fire pit in the middle was the one they actually used on stage, which I thought was cool. And there was also a section where you can put on your own duct tape, and they gave you like a little picture for reference on what you could do design-wise, and I threw some on my pants, and that looked pretty neat. But while I was writing my letter to Tyler and Josh, something magical happened. We got to experience the sound check. Tyler Joseph is here.
I can hear him. I just need to go with their certain chords.
And this is where we find out that Hometown and Slowtown will be on the set list. I almost thought for a second, I was like, Tyler probably knows that we're in here, and he's like, let me just sound check Hometown and Slowtown real quick, and then not perform it at the concert. So I was still in disbelief. I still didn't want to believe it, but it was so super cool getting to hear the sound check. I got to hear Josh's drums, which that was pretty exciting. But also just getting to hear Tyler's voice in a relatively empty and quiet room was honestly very, very cool. And getting to hear him talk about what he wants changed, like the little details. He's so detail-oriented, it's insane. You would think this far into the tour, like he would have like mostly everything worked out, but he's still talking about lighting. He's still talking about like little changes to the song he wants to do. Like, it's insane and oddly beautiful that Tyler cares so much about his performances, and it was really cool to get to hear him work that out. But unfortunately, I couldn't stay in 21 Pilots heaven forever. I had to leave. I dropped off my letter, I gave him 2 ghosts, and I was off to go wait in line for the actual show. Update, we're in line. We're in line.
Tyler Joseph.
Tyler Joseph. She did the really cool pictures of my layout, my YouTube channel. Also,
Mother Earth. Tyler's here. Welcome home, buddy. Keeping the pit fruity. Yeah!
This part, I really want to talk about security, because security is sometimes good, sometimes not. Let me explain. During this part where I was in line to go into the actual show, There were a couple of security guards that I thought were incredibly nice. They were funny, they were joking with people in line, they were hyping up the crowd, and I really, really appreciate that. But boy, were there some messes. And best way I could put the security is mass confusion. It seems like they were playing one big game of telephone with each other and no one really knew what was going on. You could ask one security guard one thing and then ask another one, and they would both have two very different answers. And this, of course, left a lot of people confused. It just seems like they kept changing everything, because in the original email that we received, they wanted everyone who had GA to line up at the front doors. And then when we got there, it was like, no, not really. You can line up at the back doors as well, where they had the FPE event. And it was like, we actually want the FPE people to line up back here. And it's like, okay. And then I heard another security guard that's like, why are you putting GA people here? Like, I told them all to go in the front. And we're like, somebody else told us that we should line up here. And it was like, so confusing. It was just, the lack of communication was insane. And today, as recording this, is actually the third night in Columbus. I'm not gonna be there, I'm back home. And I actually don't know a lot about this situation, but apparently there was like something big that went down with the line today at 8 a.m. I guess security decided that they were gonna give the wristbands out in reverse, and I heard talks that one security guard got physical with somebody, and ADA was a total disaster. Unfortunately, I don't know much about that. I just see bits and pieces online. I just heard it's a mess. And the things I experienced, it was a mess. So security, you guys are funny. Some of you guys are funny. Some of you guys are not. But the communication, nobody knew what was going on. It was insane. You kind of just had to pick a line and be like, well, I hope it gets me in. And that's exactly what we did. And we made it into the show. The only problem is we were on Tyler's side.
Crazy shot.
Now, if any of you are familiar with me and what I do in my past as Tiny Dunn, you would know that I am a pretty big Josh stan. But unfortunately, that night I was surrounded by nasty little Tyler stans, and all of my friends were Tyler stans, so I had to get over there with the Tyler stans. But it was fine. We had our little force fic pregame, and it was fine. You insane for this, brother. You insane. These tour projects getting out of hand.
And now a quick word from our sponsors.
1 star.
Wait, she flopped.
Next. Alright, who's coming out next? What's the theme? Oh, she's gonna get it 5 stars. She's gonna place.
Hey, Tato!
Alright, who's the winner? Oh, that's a choice.
Everybody's so creative.
Everyone's so creative.
Pretty soon, we were watching the opener, Blue Brigada. Now, I have some thoughts about Blue Brigada, and I know this is a 21 Pilots video, so I will be brief. When I first saw them, like on the very first live stream, on the very first show of the Clancy tour, I didn't know what to think. Honestly, I was not a big fan. They just sounded shaky. They sounded nervous. They didn't really sound together. You could tell that they were kind of like not used to playing in front of this many people, which is honestly understandable. I did not hold it against them too bad. Like, I understand. But honestly, at my show, you can tell that they were much more together. You can tell that they were much more confident, and they sounded so much better as individuals and as a band. And I'm really glad to have seen that growth and to see that they're, you know, gaining more experience and gaining more fans. It seems like a lot of the clickies enjoy them. But you know, they're cool. They sound like Gorillaz from New Zealand, and I'm a big Gorillaz fan, so can't be mad at it. Also, this dude, total cutie. But after monkeying around in the pit for God knows how long, the ETA message appeared, and everyone freaked out.
I'm so excited.
Everyone freaked out more when it was announced that this show would be recorded for a live album. I don't want to brag, but this would technically be the second time that I was on a 21 Pilots album. Yeah, guys, I'm kind of a big deal. While preparing my vocal cords for this next album recording, pretty soon the concert started. And let me just say, the opener for the Clancy tour is so much better in person. I feel like most people didn't really have an issue with it, but I remember seeing it for the first time, and this is no issue, but I was like, it's like videos that are black and white on a TV screen, but getting to experience it in person and feeling the buildup of overcompensate and seeing these videos is much better in person, I'll say that. Also, Clancy, he is so kitty, okay? He's kitty in pictures and in videos, but he's so kitty in real life. I don't know how to explain it. He just looks like a cat. His ears look more predominant in person. He gets on a little keyboard. He acts silly. He's just a cat. He is a cat. And Clancy the Cat will be relevant later. As I said, there is a cat involved. And this silly little kitty is so good at transitions. I honestly tried to look for when they switch out the double during car radio to do the little teleportation trick. I cannot find it. I know there's people that have videoed it, but I just try to see it for myself, and they do that little switch out so smoothly, you honestly can't tell, and you won't be able to tell if you're not just looking for it, because I tried to look for it and I can't find it. It's also really neat that they thought to like pre-record Tyler and Josh like looking at the cameras on the big screen, even though it's their double that's on stage, so it looks like the teleportation trick is even cooler. I know they've done things like that in the past, but the fact that they're trying to make it look even more believable is super cool. Also, the judge is so cute. If you don't know how the judge works, at 2 p.m. that day at the venue, people go out and they record fans showing off their outfits and showing off, their art and things like that, but they also get them singing the judge. They show this footage on the big screen right before they perform the judge. And I think this is so sweet. It really showcases just how creative and just how dedicated the Clickies are, which is something incredibly special, and you don't see that in a lot of fan bases. And I'm so happy that Tyler and Josh want to showcase that. And you can very much tell that the judge is centered around us, because not only do we get to sing the intro, but I noticed that while he's actually singing the judge on stage, there's parts where he stops singing and the backing track will stop, and it's just us. It's the little oh-oh-ohs in there. It's just us. It's just one of those little things where he's giving us the spotlight. He's like, I want to hear you. This is about you. And I think that's neat. Another interesting thing to note about the Clancy World Tour is Tyler Joseph's version of Vigilante Shoo. She don't start shit, but she can tell you how it ends. Can't say that. I can't cuss on this channel. I mean, I can. I just don't want to. The thing I noticed about this song that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, and even I missed it for the longest time, and it actually took me the second night to realize what is going on, is that during Backslide, when it's that part of the verse where it sounds like a conversation, where it's like, are you doing good? Did you solve all of your problems? That sort of thing. The back and forth is, you notice that there is a lighting change for one of the voices. Most of the lights is like purple bluish, but then when that other conversation, the other person in the dialogue starts speaking, the lights turn red, and underneath the vocals, you can hear the blurry face voice. So it's heavily implied through the visuals of the live performance that Tyler's actually talking to blurry face and Backslide, which Makes a lot of sense considering what that is about. There's a lot of moments in Clancy where it seems like Tyler is talking to someone or himself throughout the entire album, and knowing that that might be him having conversations with Blurryface just adds a whole new layer. Listening to these songs for the first time, I always assumed that it was just a younger version of Tyler or just a different version of Tyler, and I guess in a way that's still Blurryface. Also, Shy Away sounds like a video game. Listening to the way that they perform it live, it literally sounds like a song that would be playing while you're playing a level in a video game. It's so cute. Also, I love that it kind of replicates what they did for Shy Away in the MTV Unplugged. Also, another thing that I'm not noticing people talk about is the spider theme. There's a lot of spiders going around, okay? And I'm not sure why, okay? I don't really have like a deep, meaningful answer for the spiders. Maybe I'll get to you on that. The first time I noticed spiders being a theme in 21 Pilots visuals, at least on stage, was actually their last tour. I noticed some spiders, okay, on stage. The spiders are back. I don't see anybody talking about them. There were spiders on stage during Backslide, and there was also just like a raining sky of spiders at one point, I think during Heathens. Obviously, there's no coincidences in 21 Pilots. If things show up more than once, probably intentional. So spiders, my little clicky theorists, get on that. Why is there so many spiders? Huh? At this point in the show, Tyler was ready to go to his B stage, and this is during Routines in the Night, and here's a video of me waiting for Tyler to come near me during Routines in the Night. And holy moly, was he close. Seeing Tyler Joseph up close is always a grand, magical experience. But unfortunately, Pookie had to leave because the torchbearer showed up, and literally we got sent to Dima. This is one of the coolest parts of the show. Just the reveal of the towers is so cool, and seeing them stare at the towers, I don't know, it's really, really cool. This half of the show is probably the most interesting as far as lore goes, and it's probably what we need to be paying the most attention to, because there's a lot going on with the storytelling and the visuals and the colors and what they're showing us on stage. I've talked about this before, but the red towers during Navigating Live, and then they suddenly turn yellow during Nico and the Niners, and then there's this kind of shift between red and yellow, kind of almost signifying this battle between Dima and the Banditos. And of course the fire, symbolizing possibly burning down Dima. But Navigating was really, really super cool. It was one of the ones I was most excited to hear for some reason. I just think the song's so cool, and I was like, this is going to go hard live, and it really certainly did. It was very sweet that when Tyler says, feeling the reality that everyone leaves, the fans held up signs that said, we're not leaving. What's also really, really cool is the bass in Heavy Dirty Soul. Good lord. That thing just, it rocks through you, and it feels awesome. Heavy Dirty Soul and Jumpsuit, I don't know what happened. Those songs were always cool live, but they really upped it. They really upped those songs, and they were even cooler. But good lord, that bass. Woo! This is probably nothing of note, but one of my favorite visuals of the entire night are these vultures. I'm not sure why. I just thought they looked cool. Also, their eyes glow yellow, which means they're seized, and it's like they're spying on the crowd. Don't trust the birds. The birds are not real. They work for the bourgeoisie. I'm happy to report that both Night 1 and Night 2 were super respectful for Oldie Station, and it is such a cool song to experience live. Of course, when you hear about it, you know it's going to be special, but getting to experience that is really, really super cool. I don't know why anyone would boo this poor song, because it's really, really neat to hear Tyler sing that to you in person and know what it's about. But the thing that kind of took away from this magical experience is that I noticed that one of the fan art was that girl that was yelling at the cat, but it was Torchbearer, Ned, and Clancy. So, you know, sweet moment, but I was just like, wait a minute. Hearing Hometown, Slow Town, Guns for Hands, Fake You Out, so close together, I'm pretty sure 21 Pilots want me dead. And I know that they want me dead because right after this awesome set list, Josh took his shirt off, and that was like the final blow. That was the final nail in the coffin. They had killed me. But as fun as Lavish is, we got more lore-centric when we went back to Paladin Straight. I feel like I can make an entire video on Paladin Straight live as far as the color usage and the things that are going on screen. But the thing I will talk about is actually Josh Dunn singing. Making my way towards you. He has improved so much from when we've heard him the first time. Actually, on MTV Unplugged, you can tell that he has gained a lot more confidence and his voice sounds better. Not that it ever sounded bad, but you can really tell that he's coming into who he is as a singer. And it's really, really cool that he's getting comfortable with that. Also, one of the lyrics that he sings is making my way towards you. And I can't help but think that this might be a reference to Torchbearer coming to save Clancy, making my way towards you. Of course, originally in the song, it's Clancy making his way towards Nico, but now that Josh is singing it on stage, I think it kind of has a double meaning. And you know, 21 Pilots love their double meanings. But yeah, speaking of Josh singing, there was a lot of new Josh activities. A lot more enrichment in his enclosure. He was singing, he was drumming, he was playing the keyboard, he was doing the drum pad. And seeing him move out of his comfort zone and trying more things on stage and playing more of a role than just the drums, it's cool. It's an interesting development, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future. At this point in the show, we move on to Stressed Out, which originally I thought the visuals were really, really neat because of this carousel. I just thought it looked really, really super cool, but as I was watching this, it really was telling us an interesting story. The carousel starts out pretty slow. There's not a lot going on at the beginning of the song, which when we're going to analyze this, we need to consider two things. The fact that it's going slow, but I think we also need to consider what a carousel actually is and what that might represent. Of course, that is a children's ride. A lot of kids ride these things, and I think this entire story that this carousel is telling throughout this song is a representation of what it is to grow up and how that feels. Because the carousel starts out slow, it's a joyful ride through childhood, and then at the very end of Stressed Out, you can see that the carousel is spinning really, really fast. It looks like it's in a hurricane. There's money spinning everywhere. And it's kind of this perfect representation of trying to find yourself into adulthood where you can't just ride on carousels all the time. And it's not easy. It's not a simple ride. You're kind of riding out this hurricane and things feel like a mess. And that's just what it's like to be an adult. But even still, I want to ride this carousel so bad. It's so cool looking. Right after Stressed Out is trees, and oh lordy, the trees suck both night 1 and night 2. I know it was going to be bad when we had this annoying little Waldo trying to be main character laying in the middle of the pit. Like, get up, bro. Even Tyler was mad. Even Tyler was like, all right, get up, bro. And even though our circle was a little clumpy and we managed to get it together, and I had a wonderful, awesome view. And what was even more scary is that they jump scared me. Okay, they literally ran right past me and my friend group when they were getting on the platforms. It was honestly very, very scary. 21 Pilots jump scare. Torchbearer and Clancy jump scare in 4K, not clickbait. But after the show, I nerded out about some drums again, and I went back to the hotel and I went to sleep just to do it all over again the next day. I woke up that next morning, and you would think that I would go over to the venue at 8 a.m. to get my numbered wristband. Did I do that? No. In fact, I actually went to the Columbus Zoo, where I saw a whole plethora of animals. Some of these, to note, were one of my favorite animals of all time, and also Jason the cheetah. Shout out to Jason. He made it out of Tyler's basement, and now he's living at the Columbus Zoo. It was amazing to meet a celebrity. I also tried to meet Hugh Jackman, but I guess he was too busy filming movies. He wasn't there, unfortunately, but you know, it's fine. So after my little zoo adventure, I got back in line for night 2, where I feel like the epitome of Ohio happened. Like, this is peak Ohio experience. Some person pulled up with a cat and a stroller, and she was like, "This is Clancy the Cat," and sure enough, it was Clancy the Cat. I love it. It was so cute, and I love how proud his owner is of him. Like, she was so happy to like talk to everyone, and it was really cool. Honestly, Clancy the Cat is like the best clicky I saw at the whole show. It was amazing to meet him. And while somebody was running around with Clancy the Cat, 2 cars in front of the venue crashed. Ohio drivers, you can't drive. I said it once and I'll say it again. People from Ohio can't drive. So the fact that within a span of like 5 minutes, I saw a cat dressed up as Clancy and 2 people crash in front of the venue, I was like, this is Ohio. We're in Ohio, baby.
Down in Ohio, swag like Ohio.
But we made it in the venue, and I got immediately on Josh's side. Okay, this is redemption night, baby. I was forced over with the Tyler stands, but I was going back with my people, and I was getting on Josh's side. This kicks off an interesting series of events. All right, a story that they will be telling at the Bandito camp for ages, I'm sure of it. The night started out well. I was taking my silly little videos of this silly little cat, and Debbie Ryan was right in front of me, which was really, really super cool. And I also noticed that they showed Josh's wedding ring during The Craving, which is a song, like a love song that Tyler wrote, so I'm pretty sure Joshler is canon by that. But this is when tragedy struck, okay? Because Josh walked from the main stage to B stage, and he didn't give me a high five.
This is so humiliating!
This is when things started to go downhill because I realized I had upset my main man, okay? How dare I let him down? The Tiny Dunn, MTV's biggest stan, okay? I let him down and I broke his heart, and obviously he took it a little personally that I was over on Tyler's side the first night. Josh, you gotta understand, it was circumstantial, okay? I didn't go over there by my own means, all right? My friends were there. I didn't have much of a choice. I didn't mean to break your heart like that, but obviously, Josh was a little upset, all right? We were not on good terms because he did not want to high-five me, and you know what? I get it. I broke his heart. It's fine. He was also filming a music video, apparently. They filmed a video for Routines in the Night, and I'm hoping I'm in it. I don't want to jinx it. I feel like they'll probably Mike Wazowski me, and you'll just see like a part of me. I don't know. The camera went past me, so maybe I'm in it.
I was supposed to be in the video.
Really?
But regardless, even if Josh was harboring some hard feelings towards me, he absolutely rocked that B stage. And after this segment, there was an olive branch. Okay, there was a friendly gesture that maybe there's still some hope here. Because as Josh was leaving the B stage, he gave me a high five. Granted, it was a little aggressive. We kind of slammed palms. He got his sweat on me, but it was a gesture all the same, okay? With this olive branch in mind, I decided that maybe there's some hope. There's still some hope, okay? He's upset with me, but you know, there's still a chance, okay? There's still some hope. Maybe the time he spent with me at B stage, he's like, you know what? I can't be mad at her. You know what? She's done so much for me over the years. Maybe there's still some hope for Tiny Dunn and Big Dunn. Because of this grand gesture, I decided that maybe I could make my way up to main stage to show him as well, hey, things are fine. I will move for you, okay? I will move mountains for you, baby girl. All you gotta do is just say the word. And to end this grand story of back and forth, Josh promptly showed me that he, once again, had stolen my outfit, which I thought was pretty weird. I was wearing the exact same jersey. But you know what? Maybe it was his way of showing that things were cool between us and the beef was squashed, which, you know, thank goodness. I'm glad we moved past this bump. If you couldn't tell, that entire segment was a joke, okay? I'm not that parasocial. Anyways, the Paladin Strait Drum Island happened, and I was promptly moved into a war zone. I started out somewhere, and by the end of that song, I was at a completely different spot. There was just a random surge of people, and I look on the floor, and I see that my feet are touching something red, and I was in the red tree circle, which turned out to be a war zone. And I knew this was going to be a war zone as soon as crusty dusty face Nico showed up on that screen. I was like, okay, we're going to war, folks. This is going to be bad. And boy howdy, did it suck. tree circle was even worse than the first night somehow. I mean, at least Waldo didn't show up, but there was one girl that was trying to tell everyone what to do, and Tyler called her mom. So not only did we not back up to create a fully formed circle in a reasonable amount of time, people were also rushing to the platforms before Josh could get on his, so the poor guy was just kind of stuck in the crowd for a little bit. But security moved people and he eventually got to his drum set, and I was a little squished. It kind of got crazy in there. I actually heard people in front of me that was like, as soon as Tyler gets on the platform, you gotta run up there, which don't do that. At least make sure that Josh makes it to his drum kit, okay? Because listen, if he can't make it to the drums, we're not playing trees. So I don't know what you think's gonna happen. Also, during this tree circle, trees actually had to be stopped because someone in the back needed medical aid because I guess they had fallen and hurt their head. I don't know. It was a mess. I survived war. It was literal war. But the view was amazing. And that concluded my 2-day weekend in Columbus, Ohio with 21 Pilots. 21 Pilot shows are always incredibly special because I feel like so much of what they mean to me is beyond the music. And even beyond Tyler and Josh, if I'm being honest. Like, of course, they mean so much and they are incredible, but they have opened so many doors for me and have given me so much that I feel like what they mean to me is just so far beyond the music, and it has taken a life of its own. And I'm very grateful to have lived that experience and that 21 Pilots have given me all of these cool things in my life. I literally yapped for so long. Wow. Anyways, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.